let's talk about the ultra controversial Lia Thomas. Boom, boom, boom. So, if you don't know, Lia Thomas is the NCAA champion swimmer who is also transgender, who for the first 3 years of Lia's collegiate career as a swimmer competed as a male, had somewhat success, but not too much success. But this last year, Lia is competing as a transgender woman, and Lia is whooping everybody in the pool. A lot of people are up in arms because we have a trans woman who is a biological male at birth competing against biological women, and a lot of these biological women basically feel as if they have no chance of winning. So me and Pat are going to examine this story and answer the question: do biological women and these physical sports right here? Because I'm gonna ask the question: do biological women have a chance in competing against trans women in sports where they have to compete against each other physically? So I'm reading an article yesterday, and one of the articles is insinuating that trans women have no biological advantage over biological or cis women, what they want to call them. I'm gonna call them biological women. And one of the examples they used was like mental examples. But I'm like, we're not talking about mental. Nobody's saying that a trans woman has a mental advantage over a biological woman. That's not nobody's saying. When it comes to physical sports like running track, playing basketball, playing baseball, swimming, stuff like that, MMA, there's a physical advantage. So you wanna jump in, my brother? What you know about this? What you know about? I know you done read up on this. What you know about this?
Look, man, we had this discussion when we talked about Caster Semenya and the overtestosterone
and Moo.
Yeah, right. The overtestosterone women, as they called them, from the African countries trying to compete in the 800 meters and such.
Yeah.
There's no way about it, and there hasn't been any major studies on it, and that's because anytime you try to talk about it, somebody come to chop your fucking neck off.
Yeah.
The closest study we have measured the physical fitness standards for transgender women
in the military,
and it found that even 2 years after they finished their hormone or they started their hormones, they still maintained a 10% advantage over women. To me, that says that the hormones are not changing anything because men roughly have a 10% advantage over women, period. So physically, and there's no way you can undo that. They still have stronger or they still have the bone density advantages. They still have the muscular advantages. They still have the athletic advantages. They're all still there.
Yeah, they all of that is there, like all of that. But the bone density, see, the thing with the bone density is, and I think people need to read up on it. Read what estrogen does to the bones. The estrogen preserves the density of the bones. So that there's no loss of advantage in bone densities, and especially when we're talking about a combat sport like MMA or boxing or something like that. When it comes to those things like that, or even if it would come to the NBA or things like that. So, but like Pat said, there's only been a small sample, small studies that have been done on elite athletes. So if there's a 10% advantage with elite athletes, there will be also, you can assume there'll be a 10% advantage with regular people. So take a regular woman and a trans woman, and physically they are neither one of them. They both got sedentary lifestyles. Let's say they're not overweight, but they got sedentary lifestyles. They don't really go to the gym in their life. They ain't really went to the gym like that. The man transitions to a woman. That man still has a physical advantage over that woman. Like,
Yeah.
when I used to date the young lady who lift all the weights, was a figure competitor and stuff. Like when we would wrestle, man, I'd be doing her with one arm. She got all the muscles. Look at my arm. Look at my arm. Look at my arm. Like I'm throwing her around with one arm. I'm talking about she be in the gym getting it. I'm throwing her around with one arm. We're stronger.
I mean, it ain't. And when you look at track, and one thing like this, so Lia Thomas is dominating in the sprints, the short races. It'd be one thing if they were, because it's been shown that women do tend to perform more comparable to men the longer the distance is, because they have a stamina advantage over men. So in ultra marathons and in super long runs and activities, women actually can compete straight up with men, and in a lot of cases beat men, because they have that advantage. They have an aerobic, they're better at aerobic efficiency than men. Men are designed for power, women are designed for stamina. So like that, for them to say that there is no advantage, and the only study we have says that there's a 10% advantage that's maintained, and then for you to look at the nature of the beast, like a 10% advantage is huge. Like I was telling you last night, a 10% advantage is the difference between a college high school championship in the 100 meter and a world record in the 100 meter. That's 10%. It don't sound that big, but when you're talking about in the world of elite sports, 10% is huge. 10% is huge.
But Lia Thomas is lapping and tripling the other women she's competing against. Like she just won the 500-yard freestyle. So she won the NCAA Women's Championship in that. What else did
here's the thing, though. Of course, because she was already an elite athlete as a he.
Right, yeah. Because now Lia wasn't the greatest swimmer as a male, competing as a male, but Lia had some success as a male. But like you're saying,
when she was a he was competing on the collegiate level, which is an elite level. I would say once you get to college, you can call yourself elite, especially if you are doing well.
And physically, have you seen Lia?
Yeah, it's different.
It's a consider, and it hasn't even been like a calendar year. Like it should, like to try to have some kind of fairness in it. Lia shouldn't be competing this season. She should come back and compete next season.
No, yeah, definitely.
But the fact that Lia's competing right now, has been competing, and that's not even enough time for the hormones to take place. Lia is up to straight testosterone and killing those girls. So I read something that said Lia was the 400th ranked swimmer as a male. So if that's true, the 400th ranked swimmer as a male competing against women is dogging women.
But bro,
think about that. Think about that when people try to argue a physical advantage. The 400th ranked male swimmer in the world is the number one female swimmer in the world by a long shot. It's not even close.
But that's the entire point I've been trying to make, bro. Like people really need to, because there's a lot of people out here spreading this women can compete with men thing. Think about this now. Flo Joe's record, the untouchable record in the 100-meter dash, 10.49. Untouchable. Hasn't come close to being beaten in 25 years. There are high school boys in the 10th and 11th grade right now that would dog her out.
Yeah.
They not even that rare. To find a 10th grade boy that can run under a 10.4 is not rare.
I was just watching something, and they were showing how fast wide receiver Tyreek Hill is for the NFL. He played for the Dolphins. Now he was a Chief. He a Dolphin today. But they were showing how fast he was in high school. And in high school, he would have finished maybe 4th or 5th in the Olympic race with Usain Bolt in high school. So that Flo Joe record don't even exist.
Right.
In high school.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like it's not fat, and it's irresponsible. And in my opinion, it's actually more than a little bit silly to think that you could get on some hormones and 6 to 8 months later lose all of that advantage. That shit don't even make sense to me. Right. But then you realize these people aren't trying to make sense. They're so busy arguing their emotions and their passions and what they want that they're not even stopping to consider everything else that's happening.
I mean, how can you preach equality while stepping on women? It's like, shut up, women. Shut up. Let these trans women do what they do. Shut up. Nobody cares if you put in all that work. Nobody cares if you're doing this and doing that. Like these young ladies have no chance. Some of these ladies' futures are being altered drastically because of this. And it's like, hey, the feelings of the trans community is what's most important. Equality, equality, equality. Trans feelings come first because it's feelings over facts. It's feelings over everything right now. That's really what it is. And then a petition. There was a petition that was signed by 500 people. The narrative is 500 swimmers. 300 to 500 swimmers signed a petition. But from what I was reading yesterday, it was the 300 people was a combination of current swimmers, former swimmers, and other people who are in the NCAA or support the swimming community. So these were people who were pro Lia and pro the changing of the rules to allow transgender people to compete. But the question on the other side is, where are the trans men lining up to compete with biological men? Right.
You don't hear about that. You definitely don't hear about them spanking people and setting records.
I'm just saying. Remember the handball team? I think it was Australia.
Yeah.
And the handball league, they let the male team in, and the male team crushed everybody. Like I say, you had a UFC fighter who fractured a woman's skull in like 7 places. That's not cool. You had the 2 high school trans women, I think it was Connecticut, who were breaking all the records. That the year before, as boys, they were losing. As women, they went breaking all the records. How is that fair to women? That's my question.
It is not. And life isn't fair, but sports should be. Sports, that's one of the primary tenets.
Equal opportunity, not equal outcome. Equal opportunity.
Right, and that's not if we're sitting and if there is a study that comes out at some point in the future that shows that after 2, 3, 4 years of hormone therapy, all competitive advantage is lost. Cool. I'm with whatever the science say, but right now,
I'm not against. Right now, even if a study don't come out, if somebody said, all right, it's been 3 or 4 years after the hormone treatment, so let's do some physical testing. So I think this person could compete. Some of the advantage is greatly reduced. A lot of that advantage is greatly reduced. Like you say, from what we know now, after about 2 years, it's still a 10% advantage. We don't know too much after that. But in the case of Lia Thomas, it hasn't even been a year.
Yeah. That's a straight up, that's a male body swimming against females. I'm not calling her a male. I'm saying the body that she is currently existing in is a male body.
Because, like I said earlier, it would feel slightly bit better if Lia wouldn't have competed this year and came back next year after going through the treatment. I still would think, well, we still know that it'd be an advantage, but at least it'll be a bit better. But there was no time. There was no time off. It just, compete.
Yeah, because if she competed 3 years as a male, and then was able to come back and compete her fourth year as a like
Hold up now.
even the coach
Hold
should have
up
been
now.
like, "Come on, like you just
Hold up
finished
now.
last season as a
Yeah.
dude."
So you have some swimmers on the team who support her, some swimmers who don't support her. You got a lot of there are a lot of people who don't support a lot of the outlets or the media outlets who are writing about it. They're very biased because they're saying people who don't agree with it are transphobic, and that's bullshit. But a difference of an opinion does not mean fear.
Look, man, I'm not gonna let these people and their labels bother me. If you
Explain to me
want to
why
say,
it's trans.
no,
Explain why it's transphobic.
I agree it's not. But if that's what you want to label me as transphobic because I don't think a transgender woman should be competing with natural born women, nor do I think that a transgender man should be competing with natural born
Natural
men
born men.
because men have a competitive advantage.
And then we'll try to knock that person's head off.
Sports should be fair. And until such time as you can guarantee the fairness of it, you shouldn't be doing these kinds of experiments. If it's really that big a deal and it's really just about competing, then either create a league specifically for transgender peoples or have them compete in the sport that offers them or within the classification that offers them the least competitive advantage. That means transgender women still train and compete with men. Sorry. If it's really just about the sport, then
well, yeah, because and that's one of the things that was kind of contradictory about the article that you and I were talking about yesterday with Leah trying to say it's all about swimming. If it's all about swimming, why didn't you just continue to compete as a male? And I know they tried to butter it up with saying, well, Leah had these different feelings early on, and Leah met with the transgender activist or the counselor person. But why didn't you go seek professional help to deal with those feelings? Because you dealt with an advocate, not necessarily according to the article, a real mental health professional, somebody who could help you through your emotion. Not saying somebody who would prevent Leah from transitioning, but will give Leah more of a real world clarity and make sure Leah is not operating through feelings, but Leah is operating through logic as well as feelings and other things.
Yeah. I mean, they would have maybe the person she spoke to was, but we don't know because the article didn't say.
Yeah.
But if you really just spoke to a transgender mentor and advocate, then
that's what the article said.
That you're right. You didn't get the tools that you needed to really understand what you were feeling, why you were feeling, and how to go about processing those feelings.
Because I mean, what does that mean? You talk to a mentor, and how is and once again, we don't know this person's credentials, but that just said a mentor. So if you're just a mentor, how will you credential to help this person through this process? You may have went through the process yourself, but do you fully understand on a holistic level what's going on? And can you accurately communicate that to that person in a way so they can help themselves? Because if not, you just telling somebody something they want to hear.
Well, and let's be clear about this too. Usually you have a mentor that guides you through a process they've already been through, that you're getting ready to go through. So if you spoke to a transgender mentor before you spoke to a licensed mental health professional about the feelings you were having, you know, I mean, it's just, I don't like,
but you could transition.
Right.
I just want to make sure a person when they transition that they're in the healthiest state as possible, because we know the suicide rate and the depression rate for people who transition.
Right. I ain't got nothing against transgender, and you do your thing. If you felt like you needed to do that, that's cool. Not taking nothing away from anybody that feels the need to transition.
But you also just can't take advice from anybody.
Right. And at the same time, just like you want everybody to consider your feelings, you should have considered the feelings of all of the women in that pool that you was going to be swimming against.
Right. But see, that's my biggest issue with a lot of this movement is me. It's all about me. It's very narcissistic. Me. And if you take the spotlight off of me, then you're a transphobe. And feelings. Like you said, consider my feelings. But hey, damn your feelings.
Well, yeah, and let's be real about this too. Let's be 100% real about this. If you were an athlete before you transition, and then you transition and start dominating people, you know that ain't you.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Like stop it. But I mean, you know, I don't. I'm still not understanding why the women are still showing up. I wouldn't show up.
I
If
wouldn't
all the
either.
women, if you are against it and you know Leah showing up, don't show up. If Leah gonna compete, ain't nobody competing. The women have a way more power than they understand. Hey, we will boycott this.
But that's them being caught up in the feeling. Nobody wants to be looked at negatively. Like they don't want to be seen as the evil people that like because people have kind of attached this whole transgender movement to the black movement and talking about how this is their civil rights and not this is this
No, it
no
ain't.
it's not.
No, it ain't.
No, it's
No, it
not.
ain't.
And every
No, it
time
ain't.
y'all do that, y'all basically spit in
Cause
the face of black people, in
yeah,
my
you are
opinion.
you shitting on it because black people was not trying to force their way on to black people were fighting to be recognized as human beings. You guys are fighting to get your feelings to the front of the line. Let's just be real. A lot of the disparities, the narratives of the disparities that are talked about, and the numbers don't say what the narratives say.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just saying,
Yeah, this bothered me though because I was a competitor. I still coach and train,
bruh,
and
bruh. I've been making a joke for a while, even before I really start paying attention to the story. When I'm at work, I make the joke and I tell everybody, "Hey, I'm going to try out for the FAMU girls basketball team next year. If I do that, I'm going to the WNBA, bruh. Bruh, if I go out on FAMU women's basketball team next, because I still got 4 years of eligibility. I only need 2. If I go out, matter of fact, I only need 1 because I've been out of college more than 3 years. I've been out of high school more than 3 years, and it's the NBA rules anyway. So I've been out of college more than 1 year. So if I decide to go play to be gender fluid and I'm still Joe Ward and I'm identifying as them, but I'm a woman because I'm a trans woman, but I'm gonna look like this. I'm gonna shave my beard down, but I'm gonna look like this. And I'm gonna go play basketball for FAMU women's basketball team. I'm going to the WNBA. And I'm gonna be the number 1 pick in the WNBA draft. And I'm gonna go to the WNBA and I'm gonna be the all-time greatest women's basketball player.
well,
Give me those facilities. Give me the ability to train like them women and all that stuff. Man, I'm dunking on chicks. I'm dunking on women because they're not gonna be stronger than me. They're not gonna be faster than me. They're not gonna be quicker than me. I will be doing them. Like all the videos. Go online. There are plenty of videos. We're not saying women don't win. Not saying women don't win. But if it's 100%, men winning 80% of that, maybe 85. There are plenty of videos of women challenging men in combat or in competitive sports, physical competitive sports, and women getting dominated. I'm not saying men win 100% of the time, but 80 to 85% winning percentage.
yeah,
I mean, you do the math. I passed the class.
it, especially if we talking about, and that's the thing, right? When you're talking about athletes, you're already like most of the people that are on the college level. I know we don't think about them this way, but they really are. Most of those people are anomalies to begin with. Like high school is really the cutoff for people that is, just slightly above average
Right.
athletically. They
Right.
they do well in high school. They typically get weeded out in college. The
Well,
people
yeah.
that
Well,
you
yeah.
seeing in college, those are athletic anomalies. And unfortunately, the truth is, it's unfortunate for a lot of women and a lot of the trans supporters. The truth is, the athletic anomalies for men have a lot higher ceiling athletically than they do for women. That's just the truth of it. Now, that's not to say an athletic anomaly for a woman can't beat an average Joe dude. Of course she can.
Look, Brittany Griner, we just talked about Brittany Griner. Brittany Griner is 6'9" in the WNBA, and she don't dominate. She don't dominate. Brittany Griner is 6'9", and she can dunk. She ain't got no hops. Brittany Griner is the same height as LeBron James. Look at how high LeBron James jumps. Brittany Griner, she ain't got no hops. She don't get that high off the ground when she dunking. Brittany Griner misses dunks. She be barely dunking, and she's 6'9". She's one of the greatest athletes in WNBA history, and she's 6'9", and she don't got no hops like that. She be missing a whole lot of dunks. Brittany Griner probably got 10 to maybe 20 dunks in her career. That's it at 6'9". There's a competitive or physical difference between men and women competing. It just is.
Yeah, well, we got to stop being nice and politically correct. This because a big part of sports is also mental. And if those girls is going into those races knowing that they aren't going to win,
yeah,
and that, like you said earlier, that's affecting the trajectory of their lives.
It is. It is. It does. Like just like a lot of the men we know depend on sports to get them out of their situations. Like these women depend on sports. But imagine being the number one woman because you know you work harder than all the other women. And this is your meal ticket out of this space. And your spot is taken because somebody who everybody already knew was going to win because that person had a built-in, born-in physical advantages competing against you. Now your future is drastically altered. I'm just saying, women's feelings matter as well. They do.
I do feel bad for all the war that, because it's sad because natural born women, cisgender women can't even speak their piece no more without getting fired on. And that shit is, I know that's frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, but us men, we're going to have their backs. We're going to have to be right there. Yeah, she said it. Yes, she said it. And we're going to have to stand up in mass. I mean, it ain't, look, man, I don't care how nobody take it, but we got to stand up in mass. Like, it's not about your feelings all the time. Like, grow up. It's not about your feelings.
Yeah, you feel how you feel.
Like, when something is wrong, it's wrong. So y'all white people like to quote Dr. Martin Luther King, and injustice somewhere is injustice anywhere, something like that, what he said. Y'all know about the injustices and stuff like that. I quoted it wrong, but I don't care. But y'all know what I mean. An injustice is an injustice.
Mm-hmm.